Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I'm Primetime 000, joined by Matt and nope, just kidding. It's QP. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? I'm glad to represent Dan in the best way that I possibly can.
Yeah, wow, we've got a Thanos Club invasion here a little bit, and I have to say it's a little bit. I don't feel so good. I'm sitting next to two elite Madden players. I need Dan to come back soon.
Man, speaking of Dan, let's go ahead and talk about the little fella. First down, Dan has not gotten out of the second round with the Buffalo Bills since taking them. Think about this. Divisional round, he hasn't got past it. Is there any pressure on Dan to win this season? Really, this cycle, there's a few seasons left. I know he was putting pressure on me winning with the Chargers, the Super Bowl with the Chargers. I know he's put pressure on other guys. Matt, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Yep, 100%. There's pressure. I don't think Dan would even. I don't think he would lie about it. But I mean, he's got a good team. He's obviously a really good player. He has had success in this league before. He's running out of seasons, and he's running out of excuses. He hasn't come up with. I know he's talked about Josh Allen a lot, but there's a lot of pressure on him. But I do think this is probably the season, if he's going to do it, that he does it. He's undefeated. He's got the inside track to the 1 seed. He's got an identity. If you look at his stats, he's only got 153 passes. If you discount non-running back runs, he's ran 165 times. So he's actually ran the ball 12 more times than he's thrown it. That's Dan's identity, as Faz likes to remind us every single time Dan plays. Even if Dan's not playing that style of ball, Faz tells him to play that style of ball. He's second in rushing yards, somehow second in points. That probably correlates to a top 10 defense in every category. I think Dan has gone back to his identity. I think he has succumbed to, hey, I need to play this way to win, and it's working for him.
Q?
Yeah, I have to say that if we're doing a Richter scale 1 to 10, I'd say the pressure's at a 10 right now for him. If you've been paying attention in chat, Josh Allen is no longer the problem. In the tweets, Josh Allen's no longer the problem. He says that they are on a good relationship now. He's been blaming him for his woes over the past few seasons. And he has like you said, he's at 8-0. He's got on track for the 1 seed, but he has a couple tough games coming up that are going to kind of see where he really stands. He's got Matt coming up. He's got the Buccaneers guy coming up. And then he has RD and his Kryptonite Noel coming up. But what I see from him is the number 1 defense this year. Like Matt was saying, he's the number 1 in points allowed, and he's number 1 in pass yards allowed. So as good as he is doing on offense, it's really that defense that kind of gets him going, and it's going to keep him going. I'd say if he doesn't win it here, this is a bigger disappointment than what he was trying to beat the drum with Prime and the Chargers, because this Bills team is absolutely loaded on both sides of the ball. They have everything you want.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. First of all, I mean, Josh Allen maybe isn't Justin Herbert, but he's still a top 5 quarterback, and this Bills team is loaded with talent. I look at his wins, though, this season. I think his best win is over AJ and Dump, maybe. He beat Meats 10-9 just recently, and Meats just about won that game. The pressure's on Dan, and I brought this up in our original Total Access chat before Dan went out of town, and he didn't even really want to talk about this. He wanted to kick it down the road way closer to playoff time. No, Dan, we're going to talk about it now. Listen, if we wait another week, then we got half of the games gone, and the truth is you don't want to face reality, which is the pressure's on. You got Matt coming up. You've got QP coming up. You've got RD coming up. You've got Bomber and Matt again. And the truth is we need to talk about it now to see how you're going to fare in these big games coming up here. But I will say this about Dan. He plays a unique style of offense that is called by some coward ball. And the truth is, if Dan's playing his best, coward ball does beat cornball. Coward ball beats cornball. So I'm not going to fault Dan for playing his style of play. He's running the ball well. He's playing good defense. That wins you a lot of games. It really does. So hats off to Dan, maybe kind of finding his identity late in the cycle. He's got to, and it looks like he's kind of settling in a little bit. Doesn't mean
and
Go on.
You can call it coward ball, but if you know he's gonna, coward ball is run the ball and throw to your halfbacks. If you know it's coming, stop it,
Yeah.
right? And with Dan, it's tough. No one can really stop it. And I think we forget this guy won a Simbardi before the blip. He has won, I believe, 2 primer championships with a Steelers team that I think had Kenny Pickett on it for one of them, and then Jalen Hurts on the other. I would assume
Yep.
that success was through Najee Harris and the defense, and he's starting to play like that with this Bills team. So I do think the pressure's on, though. If Dan can't get out of the second round this year, stick a fork in him. It's a disappointing cycle post-blip for him.
Yeah, it really is. And again, coward ball is better than corn ball. So moving on to second down. Contender or pretender? We're going to play that game with Meats, Tiny, and Rowan. QP, who's pretending, who's contending out of these 3 guys?
Honestly, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I want to say all 3 at the end of the day when the chips are at their highest, the stakes are at their highest. I want to say they're all pretenders. But for the sake of not doing that, for the sake of being a Thanos Club member, I just want to say, Rowan and Faz, they're very close. They're deep in the trenches together.
They're deep in each other.
Rowan's has he had a suspension?
Yes.
Rowan's had a suspension for one thing or another. I'm not sure if it was gameplay. We won't get into that, but Rowan has a chip on his shoulder and he's got the devil in his ear. And the devil in his ear is telling him what plays work, what plays to run. Against this certain coverage, you should do this. And not to mention, before NYT, rest in peace, NYT, left, he had 299 speed receivers, I believe, that he drafted, and a 98 speed receiver. At the end of the day, in Madden, sometimes speed wins. If Rowan figures it out, that 49ers defense, that 49ers offense, Rowan could be the most of a contender out of the 3. Meats is a regular season contender.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably have to agree there. I'm going to start with Meat since that was the first one on the list. Good wins. He's beat Q. He has, he lost a close one to Rowan. Okay, I guess he has one good win. But he's been in these games. He lost by 14 to Dom. He lost by 1 to Dan, and he went for 2 with to try and win it. You got to respect that. But when you watch Meats play, I just don't see it. Right? He doesn't really have the quarterback. Matt Corral's a superstar, but he's 78 overall. And Meats he drops back a lot. We call it the Meats drop back. It's not cheesy. I think it's just it's habitual. He just doesn't know he's doing it. So he'll throw a 15-yard pass that's a 5-yard gain because he drops back. And in this game, you just can't do that, and it's going to bite him. So I'm going to click Meats off there, pretender. Then there's Tiny. Okay, Tiny's a pretender, but I don't care what anybody says. He's already won his Super Bowl. He's 6-3. He's beat Bomber. He's beat Prime. He's already won his Super Bowl, so who cares? Let's get to Rowan though, because he is the one that stands out, right? He's the young kid. He's 22 years old, has all the time to play the game. He's in the Thanos Club. The very first game he played, he ran RPO orbit bubble. He's in the click, right?
Yes.
He's got nice wins. He's beat Meats. We just talked about him. He's beat Clink. He's the only person that's beat Bean, and we're going to talk about Bean here. He tied no, I'm not sure what happened there. Beat Pauly. My fear with him is his defense is terrible. Gave up 52 to Mike in a loss. He beat Clink but gave up 38. He lost to AJ by giving up 38. The tie versus Noel, he gave up 35. His defense is terrible. I'm not sure how that's possible with this team. But in my opinion, he's got the best roster in the league. You could maybe make a case for some guys that have quarterbacks, but I like Rowan as an actual contender. I'm just a little I'm worried he's too close to Faz. If you're in the Thanos Club and you start to get good, they kind of not push you down. I'm thinking about Gutto. So I think that's going to be his downfall.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think when I think pretender, contender, or I guess we're trying to decide if they can at least kind of make a bit of a run. Tiny, I've been coaching him up. He's 6-3, I believe, right now. I said, look, this guy's going to get to 7-8 wins, and I'm going to do my best to get him there. And I'm going to keep pushing that. And I think he will get there. But as for pushing for a Super Bowl this close to from what he was, he's not that. He'd be a pretender. But he is going to get to where I said he was going to get, and I'm going to be proud of myself for that. Thinking about Meats, he's a good player. I think he beats QP at least once per season, and I think that gets QP upset a little bit. And QP hates him for that, which is good. Meats is the closest contender out of this group. I'll say that. Meats, if he gets hot,
Oh wow.
he think back a season or two. He had Faz kind of in the ropes in the playoffs, and then he pulled a Meats and he miscalculated the clock, and it all kind of came crashing down. He's beat Faz in the playoffs before. He's beat QP a few times in the regular season. Meats isn't as far off as you think. Now, Rowan, look, the kid's 15 years old. I'm not going to give him too much hate. He's got 4 players, I think at least, hold on, let me get this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4 players, 98 overall and above on his roster.
Oh my goodness.
194 overall player. And when you look at the position groups, halfback, he's got an X factor. Tight end group, he's got an X factor. Wide receiver group, he's got an X factor. Offensive line, he's got a superstar in his offensive line. Defensive line, he's got a super X factor in his defensive line. Linebackers, got an X factor. Secondary, he's got 2 superstars. I mean, this kid has the best team in the game, and it's still a question mark if he can be a contender or not. No, the guy's a pretender. That's all there is to it. I mean, he's nothing. He's a nobody. He's a fly. He's an ant on the ground. He's a speck of dust in the air stuck in my air filter. He's crap that I scrape off the ground and put in the trash. Rowan is nobody. Maybe I should edit that out, but still, it's the truth. QP, let's go to third down here. Bean, he hasn't had a playoff win this cycle. Do you think he's going to get one now that he's got his quarterback after trading his quarterback and getting a quarterback?
For the sake of tradition, I kind of want to hope no, because it's one of the oldest standing SML traditions right now. But I think that the way that Bean is going to get this, right now he's 7-1. He's on a really good track. He's playing really good football. One of the best defenses, scoring a lot of points. He's got the sexy quarterback now. He's feeling good again with the twitchy thumbs. If Bean is able to get a 3 seed or a 2 seed, 2 seed's probably going to be a little bit hard to do, but a 3 seed, and he happens to get maybe Knoll or maybe one of those AFC North playoff wild card, it could be a long shot, or even Monty. Give a good rival where Monty sneaks in somehow at the 7 or 6 seed. That is the only way Bean is going to get a playoff win. If Bean has to see Matt, because Matt's known to pull off some good things, he's going to maybe talk about his record, but he can easily squeak in at the 7th or 6th seed. If he gets a RD, if he gets somebody that is expected to usually be in the playoffs, I don't see it happening. I think he's going to lose. But if he somehow gets one of those AFC North guys, maybe Monty, for all the things that he did, he screwed Monty out of the playoffs, told Monty it didn't matter, and Monty thought he was going to get a chance, and then he ended up sitting on the couch. That's the only way that he can get a chance to win this.
Wow.
But I'm not going to stay on both sides of the fence. I'm going to say no. Bean does not get a playoff win.
After all that, I didn't see that coming. Wow.
Wow.
I have to agree with a lot of what he said. It's like he had my notes in front of him. But I do want to address, I hate when people trade stud quarterbacks and then try and find a quarterback all cycle.
Yeah.
At least Bean didn't complain about it. I'll give him that. But I don't know what he was doing. Anyways, Q hit the nail right on the head. Bean's a good player, but he just keeps running into bad matchups in the playoffs. I think there was a streak, last cycle where he just played prime round 1. I mean, that's honestly... Yeah. 99% of the league is going to lose that game. So you can't hold that against him. But I think the AFC is down right now, and I think it's really setting up for Bean here because there's 3 teams that have 1 loss or fewer, Bean, Dan, and Prime. And then the next one is Knoll at 4-4-1. Well, I guess RD's at 5-3, excuse me. But Bean's looking like he's going to get that 1, 2, or 3 seed that Q just talked about, and that's where he has to be. And that's going to give him his best chance. It's going to give him a home game against, he's going to avoid Dan. He's going to avoid Prime. Him and I have always played close games. So honestly, what I want to have happen, I so badly, I want him to get the 3 or the 2 seed and play Monty round 1. I will commentate naked. I want to see that game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb here. The AFC's down and Bean is up. He's winning one.
Yeah. No, I respect that, Matt, and that's why I respect you because you're an optimist. But the truth is, Bean has had a lot of failures in the playoffs against myself. He's lost to Faz, and then he finally gets to play Noel, and it's like, oh wow, he gets to play Noel now. This is the time. And what happens? He gets spanked by Noel Overlord, spanked. And then what happens? Next season, he gets to play. Guess who? Woods, old man Woods. Oh, this is the time. The Bean's gonna do it. And then what does Bean do? He talks trash. He's like, I just wish my first win would have been against Prime or Faz, but whatever. This is great. Yeah, I got this. Like easy peasy. Then he chokes hard. He takes the timeout and gives Woods the win. I mean, this guy is. We talk about Doink being on clutch, which he is very on clutch. I know he thinks that's a narrative. He is on clutch, but Bean is easily the most on clutch playoff member I've ever seen in SML history. If he was in SML during the Plummer era, I would have had 40 Somebodies by now because he is the most on clutch member I've ever seen. It's terrible, awful. So no, he's not going to get one ever in SML history ever.
Wow.
So,
yeah, this shouldn't even be a topic. If he doesn't call 2 timeouts for Woods, he would have won one last week.
It's terrible.
Or last season, we'd been talking about something else. So you're right, Prime. He is the most unclutch.
Yeah, it's sad, really.
Bean, I just want to say, when I respect Woods. I respect Woods.
I respect Woods.
Yeah, he's just the wise man. He's a hell of a guy. What a win, that playoff game.
That was a good win. Bean, listen, if you and Monty make up, I'm willing to help you next and get you your first playoff win. Moving on now. 4th down. It's time to spread the love. On Total Access, people think, hey, we crap on people, and sometimes we do maybe, but we also like to make people feel good. And QP, do you have some love to spread to somebody?
Yeah, it's hard for me to spread love, but I'm going to do this for the sake of tradition. I love the Total Access, my favorite show, best show
Thank
out
you.
there.
Thank you.
I have a few people that I'm actually going to spread the love to.
Wow.
I'm going to start with Bomber. He's 6-2 this year. He's kind of playing very quietly. He's in and out of the chat. He's out of the chat by like 8 p.m. these days or earlier. You don't see much of him afterwards. It gets dark in the SML, pretty early these days, and he's never around, probably for good reason. But he's 6-2, playing really good football. At one point, we thought Doink maybe was going to take that NFC East, and I think Bomber is saying, not so fast. I'm still here. Don't forget about me. I was once a Big 5 member.
Oh.
In some people's eyes, he still is.
Yes.
The other one, everybody knows that we have our little rivalry going on. He beats me every single season. He's got my number when it comes to the regular season. It's Meats. Meats is playing good football. He doesn't really score points, but he's one of the best defenses. Quietly an underrated, very good defender. It's not what you think when you think of Meats. You think of, maybe some stat pattern, not stat pattern. I don't mean that negatively. Or, good offense like he used to have. But it's actually the defense that gets the job done for him these days. So good job, Meats. I know that you beat me and I get a little salty, but you're doing a really good job throughout the cycle with a worsened Panthers team than usual Panthers teams in Madden.
Wow.
And then my last guy, I'm going to give it to Monty.
Wow.
Monty, you got your girl back. You got your life back. You're not gambling anymore. It doesn't seem like. You probably had to deactivate your Instagram for reasons probably for the better. But you're 4-4. You got a chance to kind of turn this last half of the season into a success and get yourself into the playoffs. The world does want to see Monty versus Bean in the first round of the playoffs, because when Monty gets to the playoffs, anything can happen with Monty. He's one of those guys that he can beat anyone on any given day. He almost got Dan a few times, if we don't remember. He's got that, you never know what kind of offense you're going to get. It could be an explosive offense. It could be 7 interceptions, and he's GGing in the second quarter, and he's all in the game chat or social chat talking during his game. You never know what you're going to get. Right now, he's getting outscored in the points for, the points allowed. But Monty, I'm giving you the love. I want to see you turn it around. I already helped you turn your marriage around. I want to see you turn your SML Madden career around.
Wow.
Get back into the winning category.
That was good.
Wow, Dr. Phil over there. I'm going to share my love with the AFC North because they need it. And then I'm also going to share my love with with the Jets owner, Scoobert. Welcome to the league, buddy. I know it can be difficult to step in and on an interim basis. You never know when you might get sent back down whenever DW comes back, and you're kind of up here temporarily. But he seems to be fitting in well. I watch his games. He seems to be a good guy, good player. I haven't played him yet. I'm going to play him twice, but I haven't played him yet. So spread the love to him. I'm glad he's there. And then lastly, I just want to spread my love to the Thanos Club. And it's not because you're in here, Q. I had this thought up even if Dan was here, but I feel like they're down bad ever since the Super Bowl. I mean, the stone searching. I don't know if we've even had one this cycle. The last Thanos Club top 10, I believe, was the one I'm looking at right now. Last season, week 18. That was dated April 24th.
Wow.
Ever since the Super Bowl loss, I haven't really seen much from them. I've been hearing from my insiders that the chat's dead. I hope for success. I'm rooting for obviously Prime and myself to win a Super Bowl. But if it's not one of us, I hope that it's a Thanos Club member so that they can be happy again.
Yeah, that's good, Matt. I respect Matt for stuff like that. For me, I'm gonna spread my love to this guy is a little unique, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna go with Dom, 7-2. He apparently lost a game to Colt 45 and broke his headset or something.
Yes.
That's bad. Look, Dom, you're a great player. I think you're a highly competitive player. I've always enjoyed playing Dom because it's a game that's going to make me think, and it's not just the same corny crap, and it's just something. He's a skilled player, and he does it the right way. So I just want to spread my love to Dom to say, hey, look, man, I think you're a good player, and maybe this cycle hasn't been the best of the best for you, but it's still pretty darn good. So I think Dom's a good player. So before we go to the extra point, Q, I'm going to have an improv question for you here. The Thanos Club was brought up. Is it true that if Faz beats you in the playoffs this year that you're leaving the Thanos Club?
Oh, man. I didn't have my lawyer present for this one. I wasn't prepared for that. It depends how the game goes. If he beats me and he just beats me handedly, beats me by 20, something like that, like he's accustomed to doing, there's a 99% chance I'm gone. If he beats me by 3, there's a 95% chance I'm gone.
Oh, man.
Let me just say, my wings are short. I need to grow my wings. I can't fly the way that I want to fly.
No way.
Being second fiddle, such a perennial powerhouse like Faz.
Yeah.
With the return of Rowan, I've become forgotten man. I'm no longer the prodigy child.
What? No.
It's time to look elsewhere.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's sad.
Well, you've got a home here, buddy.
You got a home
here.
You do.
Wow.
You do. You could actually join me, Dan and Matt, on Total Access. Extra point though, Matt. What do you got?
Yeah, I was going to do top 5 in the SML, but geez, there's not much parity this season. That'd be pretty rudimentary. I mean, it would just be easy. Anyone could do that.
Yeah.
So I thought I would go to. We're in the spirit of some playoffs in the sports, right? We got hockey, we got basketball. I don't know anything about hockey, so forget about that. I don't even know why I brought it up. But there's been a lot of LeBron slander in the chat, and I'm tired of it. All these little kids that never saw Jordan play and think he's the greatest guy ever. So I'm going to give you my top 5 basketball players of all time.
Okay.
My honorable mentions: Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal. At number 5, I've got Bill Russell. What a player. Has more championships than Jordan. If you want to use that argument, then he's better than Jordan. At number 4, I've got Magic Johnson. Hey, this guy, I found out he was 6'8" the other day. I thought this guy was 6'3". What an absolute specimen he had to be. Yep. One of the greatest passers of all time until a certain somebody. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 3. I mean, Magic and Kareem on the same team. I wish I was alive for that one. I might have been, but it was just not. I couldn't remember it. At number 2, I've got Michael Jordan. Hard to assess his greatness. But I want to stop right here and tell you little kids something about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's career record without Scottie Pippen is 154 wins and 170 losses. That is a losing record. That includes or doesn't count the games that he didn't play in 1986 when he broke his foot. That includes only the games that he played that season. He won one playoff game without Scottie Pippen and lost 9. So he was 1-9 without Scottie Pippen.
Wow.
So let me just remind you all of that. When you say LeBron lost so many times in the finals, blah blah blah, Jordan couldn't even get out of the first round without Scottie Pippen. So let's just let that sink in. He got swept twice too. At number 1, I've got LeBron James. Hey, he does pretty much everything better than anybody else. Jordan was obviously a better shooter, but LeBron can drive the ball. He can pass the ball. He's a better rebounder. Obviously, there's a size difference there, but it's LeBron James. And I'm sorry, but MJ's highlights on YouTube can't form your opinion. You got to look at the facts.
Yeah, that's good, Matt.
Thanks.
I do appreciate you pointing out that sometimes people don't even watch the games. They just kind of say things. Q, what do you think?
Yeah, it's actually a good list. I actually respect that list. I would have I'm biased because I never saw them either growing up, but obviously I had my dad to rave about it all my life. And I might have flipped Magic Johnson and Kareem, not off of accolades, but off of impact. Magic Johnson, from what I hear and what I've personally seen on old highlights, of course, and old games that they played on the NBA Classics and whatnot, is he was just a phenomenal player. Like you said, 6'9", actually, not 6'8". 6'9", and he was just out here, just throwing ridiculous passes, rebounding the ball. He was, a little bit of LeBron before LeBron. So I like that list a lot.
Good list, Matt. Well, guys, let us know what you think in chat about today's Total Access. A lot of big stuff happening. Obviously, we appreciate you listening to our show. That was the Matt 5. That is Matt. I'm Prime, and joining us is QP. Q, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, it was an honor. Thank you for that. Hopefully this isn't my last time, but if it is, it was an honor. And I want to just say, good job coaching Tiny. You got him farther than anybody expected.
Thank
you. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Guys, thanks for listening. Have a great day.